So part 3, what can I do now? What can I do? All right, I'm in this position. You've told me how bad it is. I know I've got to make things better. What are my options? So first, wait, I can't afford to lose my financial aid or get dismissed. My parents will kill me, or I can't afford to pay for school. So you can file a SAP appeal for financial aid or a grade appeal for your grades, or both. We'll talk about those and how to do that. When you file appeals, they will be reviewed by committees on campus, and it will be determined as to whether or not they feel that you meet the criteria to have filed the appeal, and if they feel like them approving this appeal will help you, or that you could be successful if they do. We'll put it that way. Students must provide a reason for their appeal and must follow kind of certain guidelines for documentation. We'll briefly look at those. I'm not going to go over each one in detail, but I'll show you the charts in a minute. And it's always recommended that you write a personal statement. So I've had student can be like, well, my grandfather passed away. For some students, they've never even met their grandfather, or they haven't seen him in, since they were 2 and don't really have a connection. Other students, the grandfather's living with them, right? So you want to explain in your letter what affected your performance and how. Why did it affect it? What about this event or events or whatever was going on affected your performance? What changed, what has changed, or what will change in order for you to improve your performance? Who is in your support system? ASAP advisors are one person. Who else is there for you? Are you registered with SSD? Are you now registered? Are you going to register with them? Are you seeing counseling? Do you have a therapist? What about your parents? Who is in your support system, and what resources you're going to use in order to improve your performance for the next semester? If you're granted an appeal, you must show an improvement in your performance this semester that it's granted. So when you get a SAP appeal approved, you actually get an email that gives you an academic plan, and it will tell you that you have to pass certain classes or take certain classes, repeating them maybe, have a certain GPA for this semester, things like that. It's going to tell you those kinds of things. And if you don't show an improvement, then you can go back onto losing financial aid or possibly being dismissed. Remember that if you're granted that appeal for dismissed, you're on continued probation. You have to have a 2.0 for that semester by the end of the semester to continue. So SAP appeals, these are financial aid appeals, the reasons and documents needed. So students' own illness, whether it's an accident or injury. I have had students that were in accidents that needed to, didn't do well and needed to file an appeal. Death of an immediate family member, parent, sibling, etc. Now, if this is a person that, like your grandparent that lives in the house, something like that, somebody who's living in your household, is one way to look at that, because you can file with that. Again, you're going to need to explain why would you be filing for that way, right? Illness or accident of an immediate family member, again, somebody that's in your household, or if there is a grandparent or somebody that you had to wind up taking care of due to an illness or accident, you want to explain that again. Personal crisis or undue hardship or work-related issue that was beyond your control. So severe personal family problems, including mental health, financial issues, things to that extent. Grade changes. So remember I said you can file a grade appeal? There you go. So if you filed an appeal to change a grade from a WU to a W, that's the only way that they really do it. Or there are times where students have filed an appeal where a professor has given them a grade that they didn't feel that was justified. You would have to show evidence, and sometimes your grade can be changed that way. Sometimes professors make mistakes. That happens too. So that kind of grade change that increased your GPA. Change of major. If you are like, this major isn't right for me, I need to do something else that maybe is more up my alley, and you change your major, that is another reason for a grade change appeal. And then for you guys, the last two that accepted, transfer credits does not pertain to ASAP students, and fresh start does not apply to ASAP students, nor does second degree certificate. Does not apply to you, so you wouldn't necessarily worry about those. Lastly, be called to active military duty. We've had that with students previously. Some of them are on the verge of being called up very soon as well. So that would be why. So if you're looking at this, you'll see on the right side of the page, it tells you what documents you need to provide. Note that for a lot of these, you need documents from mental health or medical care providers, death certificates. It's not just enough to say that personal statement. You need other information to go with it. All right, so looking at types of grade appeals. So retroactive withdrawal for a previous or prior semester. So if it's, we're in fall 21, spring 21, or prior to that. WU grades. So if you had an unofficial withdrawal from a class in spring 21 or previously that you have a reason to, and we'll talk about the reasons you can to appeal it, to change it to a W grade. It will not change into a passing grade. They'll just change it to a W. Late withdrawal for the current semester. So the last day withdrawal from classes is the last day of classes for the semester. The classes meet December 13th. That's the last day you have to withdraw from classes for the semester. Unless you have some extreme thing happen where you were doing really well and, I don't know, you got sick or an accident or something, were incapacitated right at the very end of the semester and couldn't withdraw in time, that would be a reason. But most of you would probably not need it. But it's good to know because we might revert to closer deadlines. We used to have the deadline would be generally the first week of November, usually, and then the first week of April to drop a class for a W grade. So it might pertain in the future for you. INC and extensions. Something a lot of students don't realize. If you're not doing really, really well in a class, you can ask for an incomplete for a class for that semester. Some students have situations in which they've received an incomplete. When you get an incomplete, you have until the end of the following semester to complete the work. So let's say you ask for an INC for math this semester, that you're granted it. You have until the end of spring term 2022 to complete the work. Sometimes students have extenuating circumstances and have to ask for a further extension. So I have a student right now that had INC to class fall 20. Due to some severe issues going on. Spring 21, she was supposed to have completed and turned in that work. She was unable to. She filed for an extension based on the situation at hand. Then lastly, under this dismissal. So remember I said you can file an appeal for a dismissal. So students who have been academically or administratively dismissed from the college, you can file an appeal to request to have a 1 semester continuance, basically, to show them what you can do. So moving on from there, looking at grade appeal reasons and documents needed. So a health appeal. As I said, I'm not going to get into documents again, but you can imagine you need something showing why you have a health appeal, what's going on with you medically. Mental health appeal, that would be from like a therapist, psychiatrist, mental health provider of some sort. SSD, that's services for students with disabilities. If you were just diagnosed or if you were not utilizing the services available to you. So it would be a copy of a previous 504 or IEP, or a letter or a letter from the office, the Services for Students with Disabilities office, and or proof of your diagnosis. That's if you have proof of diagnosis, if you have you just were diagnosed. Veteran appeal, any kind of veteran thing, you have to have your military documents. Then they have other, very, very broad. So you can, if you feel you have a valid reason, whatever it is, have some kind of documentation of that reason, and you can file your appeal. The next thing that I talk to students about, repeating courses. So in CUNY, when you have a grade of D+ to F, you can repeat up to 16 credits worth of grades in that D+ to F range and try to get a better grade. If you repeat a course with one of those grades and you get a C or better, this next time you take it, the original grade or grades, because sometimes it happens more than once, does not count towards your GPA. So while it's still in your transcript, it's get completely wiped clean, it does not get calculated into your GPA, and that can be great. And a lot of my students are like, that's awesome, I'll repeat everything, no problem. But what I always say to my students is, why were you not successful the first time? Were you not successful the first time because it was too difficult for you? Or was it another reason that you've overcome that reason, whatever it might be? So whether you now filed with SSD office and you're going to utilize your services, or you experience a trauma and have gone through counseling, whatever the case may be, if it's something like that, great. If it's because this was really, really hard and you just couldn't get through it, that's a different story. So you want to think about it, because you don't want to repeat a class and then fail it again. It's just not worth it, right? So does it make a big difference to your GPA? Yes. So let's looking at an example. John has attempted 24 credits so far. He currently has a 1.9 GPA. Most of his grades were C plus or better. He was doing great. However, he took ET 710 twice. ET 710 is a 4-credit class. The first time he got an F and the second time a D plus. He decides for whatever reason that he's going to repeat it and he's going to do much better. So he works his butt off and he gets a C in this class. So we're no longer counting his first 2 attempts, right? We don't count that D plus or that F. So his attempted credits now goes down to 20 because we wiped out the first 2. We're not counting those, but we're counting this 4-credit attempt, right? So it went from 16 by wiping them out. He's attempting the class again. That's adding 4, so 20 credits. He now has, so like I said, 20 credits attempted, and by repeating that course, receiving a C grade. When calculating his GPA, it went from a 1.9 to a 2.425, so not bad. It went up 5/100ths of a point. Great. Or is it 5/10? I'm not great with that. It might be 5/10 of a point. Sorry, not good with that stuff. So I'm not a math person. So he repeated 8 credits worth of grades, right? Because it's twice that he's wiping out those 2 bad grades he's wiping out. He has 8 credits left throughout the time that he's in CUNY to repeat another course. So what else can I do? Utilize your resources, guys. What are your needs? What do you need? What do you need to help you be successful? Look at that list. Think about the different areas we just talked about. What is it you need to help you? Can you find what you need on campus, off campus, or is it available both on and off campus? Who is in your support group? Who's there to help you out? You have ASAP advisors. You have tons of things on campus. I'm going to look at those with you in a second as well. Then the next part of it, get out of your comfort zone. Get out of it. I tell my students all the time, do one thing every day. One thing. Pick one thing each day that's going to help you improve your performance, right? So we all have a goal this semester, get a 2.0 for these classes. What do you need to do? What's something you can do today to help you get to that end game? Make an effort to reach out to somebody you haven't before. Classmates, a professor, an advisor, another office on campus. Make an effort to reach out to somebody. And reach out for help as a whole. This is for you. You need to focus on you because nobody else is going to, and you're the only one that can make things better. There's nobody else here because none of us are magic. We can't fix it for you. So you have to do this for you. So different resources on campus, your ASAP advisor, your professors, the Center for Tutoring and Academic Support, the Math Learning Center, right? Academic Computing Center, Services for Students with Disabilities, the Counseling Office, the Library, ASAP Career Specialists, ASAP Peer Mentors, clubs and organizations on campus, your classmates. That's just to list a few. There's a ton of them that I have not even gotten into on here. Off campus, your family. Sometimes your parents might actually know something. You might have a sibling that's already been in college that can help you out or taken that class. Your friends, some of your friends might be taking classes with you. You might make friends in your classes. Local library can help. Local businesses. I say this because if you're interested in a career field, I have students oftentimes they're like, well, I really want to work in a hospital. I do with health services. I want to work in a hospital. I have to be a nurse or I have to be a doctor. Nope, there's a ton of jobs. Talk to somebody at your local hospital. You might actually be able to get in touch with an administrator, find out, or even look at what the jobs are. If you are interested in something in the business field, is there a business that has that kind of job around? See if you can get a part-time job there or intern there, something like that. Ask them about it. Ask them what are good colleges to go to. What are the best classes sometimes? YouTube. YouTube has a lot of, especially now that we've been asynchronous or online, even the synchronous ones, but for asynchronous, a lot of professors have posted their lectures. You could probably find a lecture for a class. If you're in an asynchronous class, the professor doesn't have lectures posted, I guarantee you can find them. There's different apps that are available. So along with apps, we also have study sites that you can use. Your doctor might be able to help you with some things, especially if medical issues going on. Mental health professionals, And I skipped through that. So you have a lot of different resources available to you on campus and off. So we've covered a lot today, and I'm a little overwhelmed. Yes, you feel like I just went through a whole bunch of stuff. It's been over an hour. It's like a lot. It's okay. So that we knew that there was going to be a lot of material on this and that we wouldn't be able to get into everything in detail like we would love to. It would turn it into like a 3 or 4 hour workshop. So what we did was, as you guys signed in for this, we actually triggered for an email to be sent to you with a whole list of different resources, and kind of, there's a few different ones like with mental health, kind of an analysis. You fill out information, you answer questions, and it can help determine whether or not there's a possibility of a mental health issue going on, things like that. So what we did, this is actually what this looks like. These are all the resources that we've sent out to you. So a bunch of different links. If any of you find that you need something that's not on here, please feel free to email me, reach out to me, ask me, what can I do? What's going on? What do I need? Whatever the case may be, or there's something here I don't have, that I didn't put in here. You know, I have this going on and you didn't list a resource. Let me know and I'll help you find it. Reach out to your advisor. They'll help you find it. All of us are doing everything we can to help. And I hope that this workshop helped you guys out to understand things better, maybe give you an idea of how to get back on track. Remember when I asked you to prioritize earlier? The goal is just to try to focus on that number one reason you weren't doing well. Try to focus on that for right now and see if you can start working on it and utilize some of these resources to help you work on it. And then we'll go from there. And then you can go on to number 2 and 3 and 4, and hopefully they'll all help you to get back on track. Have a great day. Don't forget to answer the quiz after this. Remember that you need to have a score of 80 or better in order to be considered as passing. If for some reason you don't, you can go back and watch the video again and answer the questions from there.